What's up, everybody? I'm Sir Phobos, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Eternal Crusade. We are in the throes of the Space Marine campaign right now. Feel No Pain? Is that what they're calling it? I don't remember. But the queue times are terrible, and they're addressing that stuff currently. Or they're making posts about it. They're trying to fix things. They're going to change how the campaigns work in the future. To kind of fix this issue. So I wanted to make a quick video today and talk about loadouts and advancements and how I play the game in general. So I mean, if you watch my videos, you'll notice that I favor the basic class: the Tactical Marine, the Trader Marine, the Shooter Boy, and the Dire Avenger. I play those classes between the races more than any other class, hands down, by a mile. And I do so because I have the most fun with those classes. I think they're the most versatile, and they're almost always the best in any given situation. Capturing points, that's how you win every map right now. I think they are by far the most versatile at killing, too. And for gathering experience too, for increasing your experience gained at the end of every match and getting advancements. I think those classes accomplish that the best. Now, of course, your mileage may vary, and you might have more success elsewhere. I do have a lot of success with Pain Boys, and I can match my Shooter Boys experience in certain situations. But, overall, I think they are. I think in the current state of the game, while melee is fun and strong in certain situations, trying to, main a melee guy, the ground assault guys, Storm Boy, Raptors, Assault Marines, Striking Scorpions, any of those, you're generally going to underperform compared to the tactical guys, the shooters. And I think that comes a lot from typically how a lot of people play the game, which it's a cover-based shooter, and if you're trying to charge at them and cover, you're going to get mowed down. Now, granted, if you can get behind people, you can start swinging your sword and do a lot of damage, but I feel like in most situations, getting behind cover and shooting them is always going to be better. In my experience, that's how it's been. I will admit I'm not great at the melee classes. I don't do well, and I've practiced them. I do pretty decent, as the Pain Boy and stuff like that, which is a melee class. It's the melee healer for orcs. But I still overall do better as the Shooter Boy. In every scenario. So I personally think, if you want to do good and you want to start racking up the experience and getting your advancements so you can make those other classes better, I think starting with the base class is the way to go. It'll give you a strong foothold. It'll give you the most versatile response in every situation, and it'll really help you start to advance in the game, unlock things through supply drops and advancements and everything. So looking at advancements, what I do typically is I will start down the Tactical Marine, or the Tactical Marine equivalent, the Shooter Boy, Dire Avenger path. I will start down that path, and as soon as I can. Granted, for Space Marines, I kind of messed it up. I was screwing around too much and wasn't paying attention. For advancements, I go for survivability above all else. I don't go for special weapons typically. Most of the time, it's not a bad idea to get a loadout with a melt-a-gun, but just for what I'm talking about now, I will start just baseline class, so with a bolter, with a shooter, with whatever, the base gun, and then I will go for as much survivability as I can. Try to grab as many survivability upgrades as I can. Bonuses the health, bonuses the armor, bonuses the toughness. And each race kind of does it a little bit differently. But all of them will have an armor upgrade. You know, Space Marines have the Artificer armor. Orcs have the Ardboy armor. I think actually Eldar, they don't get their armor upgrade until you have the Revered class, which is a bummer for them. And then Trader Marines have like Warp Forged armor or something like that. And I build towards that. So my loadout will always be trying to stack as much survivability as possible before I go into, you know, additional upgrades to do other things. And I'll show you. So for like a race that I'm a little bit more fleshed out on, like Eldar, so I play the Dire Avenger the most. And see, I've dropped grenades. You know, I don't have a lot of upgrades going anywhere. I'm just using the base catapult. But I have the advanced Dire Avenger armor and the resilient Spirit Stone. And, you know, he's got respectable health, armor, and toughness now for Eldar. And that's how I play the game, is I try to go for survivability. You'll succeed more in those firefights. The game is fast and bloody. That's why I don't worry about like weapon upgrades so much. Like guys with plasma guns, sure, they're better against the guys with shields and stuff like that because they're high penetration weapons, stuff like that. But you know, the situations where those weapons are better are so few and far between. You know, I think personally, unless you're trying to like trump something the enemy team is doing, going with just the base class is the best in those situations. So getting advancements in Eldar here. Yeah, you gotta go really far down the tree to get... Oh no, I guess that's the same, right? Level 4? Was that when I got it for Space Marines too? No, whatever. You know, I started down the tree here, picked up, you know, just the little upgrades here and there that I could get. And then I did come down here to get the other upgrades for the Dire Avenger, like the Burning Rune and stuff like that. And then when I did unlock the Elite class, you know, I applied that same logic. I stacked armor, health, and toughness as much as I could before looking at other things. And in my experience, this works out well for me. Even though I play a very aggressive, you know, style, like I will run in, try to get behind enemy cover and shoot people. And this, you know, of course leads to deaths, but trying to be as tough as possible to that point sometimes pays off greatly. You know, when you get behind the enemy and, you know, getting behind entrenched positions will help disrupt them much more than, you know, trying to square off and shoot at them. So that's, I build for my playstyle, you know, obviously. Now, of course, I do always have a loadout that can go anti-vehicle and stuff like that. Have a guy with a melt-a-gun, have a guy with the rocket launcher, guy with melt-a-bombs, stuff like that. Just in the back pocket, so if we need it, I can switch to it, blow up tanks, and then switch back to, you know, the shooter boy and stuff like that. You know, again, so yeah, Golden Gob, heavy armor, not much else, you know. Nothing special on the bolt pistol, no special melee stuff. I typically get rid of grenades first. Grenades are a heavy investment, and I don't feel like they pay off, you know, most of the time. You can do a lot of good stuff with grenades, but all in all, I think, you know, you can spend your loadout points better. So that's my philosophy. Take the basic guy, make him as tough as possible, and play to the objectives of the map. And I think the basic guy is the best for that. I think whenever you're playing something else, you should be playing it to counter something that your team is lacking against. So when you switch to something that's anti-vehicle, for instance, it should be because they have a lot of transports that we're not blowing up, and we need those transports to be gone, or they have a heavy tank out there that is wrecking our business. Even like the healer, I've noticed it a lot recently that there is just an abundance of people playing the support class, which in some instances is fine. But I will never forget that Chaos game where a squad of 10 and 6 of us were sorcerers, and we just got our butts kicked because we had too many sorcerers. We couldn't cap points. We spent too much time trying to heal and weren't killing enough people, so we were just getting mowed down left and right. Stuff like that happens. I don't think you need a lot of healers or a lot of support classes to do well. I would say unless you're on a map that's even defending, you don't need support classes at all. Like if you're the attacker, I mean, sure they help and they can keep guys up, and you don't have to worry about respawns like that. But I don't think they make a meaningful difference in the game. But of course your mileage may vary. I don't think they're going to carry a game, kind of deal. They're useful and they're good to have around in low numbers. Every squad should have a healer. If they're above 5 members or whatever. But it's when the match was 60% healers, it was bad. Same thing with melee guys. Like I feel like melee guys in general aren't going to get as much accomplished as the shooters. Now granted, they can cause a lot of disruption, but if your entire team has a high number of melee guys, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Same thing with the jetpack guys. Since they got nerfed, they became easier to kill. They're disruption, they're distractors. And it's hard to coordinate that in kind of the quick match setting that the game has. If you're in a guild, you can kind of organize better. You can ask people to switch classes and stuff like that to get what you're looking for and what you need in any given situation. But and when you're just kind of freewheeling it here, or queuing up with yourself or queuing up with a buddy or whatever, it's a lot more chaotic. And that's why I think going something that's good across the board is your best option. You can cap all the points, you do great damage, you have no problem killing anybody. You can kill everybody with this, with a shooter. Melee guy, you can shoot down their shield, you can kill them if you're good about it. Nobody has, it's not like a rock paper scissors kind of thing with the classes. Everyone can effectively kill everyone else, and combat is so fast and brutal. The loadouts give slight edges, but it's not like crippling. Like you can take a basic, I don't have anyone with the basic loadouts anymore, but the default loadout, you start up the game today and you don't have any advancements or anything, and you can beat an elite class with it. It's going to be hard, and if you're one-on-one, you might not win, but rarely are those situations there. You stand a good chance to still murder him, just because of how devastating the combat is. Like the base gun, it does a ton of damage for every race. So yeah, that's how I play the game. That's how I've been successful. In a lot of games, playing aggressively with just the base class, I can top EXP or be in the top 3 contributors there. Very often getting the most range downs or whatever. Without, and I feel like I'm not doing anything special to do it, I'm just making the toughest boy I can, toughest Marine I can, toughest, you know, Eldar I can. And playing aggressively. So that would be the next thing. You know, the advancements all help you get tougher. The orc tree is such a mess. Here's the shooter boy tree right here. And the armor is there. So you can actually get orc armor quicker than you can get Eldar and Space Marine. That's interesting. Same with Chaos too. I think Chaos was in tier 3. But yeah, so I advance towards survivability. I build the loadout for survivability. I play the basic class, and then I play aggressive. Now, when you play this game, you're definitely going to see it. You're going to see people just sitting behind cover for a long time, trying to outshoot. Yeah, tier 3 for Chaos too. That's interesting. But they do have a tier 4 version. Huh. Oh, no, that's... They were rank 5 version. I'm sorry, I was looking at my rank. And I don't think that's the way... Like, you won't win a game by doing that. You know, obviously, if you're under fire, duck behind cover, it's not worth you dying by, you know, trying to charge a guy with a heavy bolter and he's, you know, 80 meters away from you. You know, obviously, he's going to mow you down. But just sticking in cover and trying to outshoot him, you know, just trading back and forth, it's not likely that you're going to kill that guy, right? You know, you're going to sit there and you're going to trade shots. The armor is going to go down. You're going to duck behind cover, wait for your armor to come back up, dip back out, and try to shoot. And people will do that the entire match. Like, I assume they don't die very much, but they don't get very many kills. And you'll see that a lot in games. You'll see guys, you know, in the bottom half of the experience gained, you know, they'll have 4 kills, 3 assists, and, you know, under 1,000 experience gained. And the guys at the top have, you know, 10,000, 8,000 experience gained with a lot more kills and stuff like that. And the way they do it, you have to be aggressive. And it does happen a lot on the defensive maps, so like the Imperial Fortresses or the sequential point captures. The attackers won't be aggressive. You know, they'll sit behind cover and try to trade shots with the defenders, and that's a losing scenario for you. What you want to get behind them. You want to disrupt their defenses like that. And by charging in, being aggressive, and, you know, of course, you're going to die. You're going to die. The game is so brutal. Death is going to happen to you. And the point is to try to make your death, you know, have, some kind of usefulness to your team. If that, is terribly morbid. Like, if you can get behind a line of Devastators or guys up on the wall shooting, and you knock them down, that's great. You know, that gives your team, 10, 12 seconds. Even if you don't kill anybody, you just down them. Those are, 10 seconds that nobody's shooting, your guys are advancing forward, the rest of your team. If you get back there and you kill them, that's great. That's even longer respawns and setup time. If you just get back there and you force, people to turn around and fight you, it's same thing. That's time that your team, the rest of your team, can move in and start swarming around those defenses. And Devastators are significantly less effective when they're not set up. If they're trying to shoot you on the move, if they're trying to aim at a guy that's charging at them, like, if you have an autocannon or a plasma cannon or, whatever, you're not... There's a good chance you're not going to beat the guy that's running at you. You're probably dead, unless somebody on your team is right there to help you. Or you're going to shoot at your feet and kill you both. And that's not a winning scenario for them either. They might have killed you, but they killed themselves in the process. It's not a good trade. And I mean, if you watch my videos, you'll see me do that kind of stuff all the time. I will just charge in, try to run around defenders and, you know, smack them with my dagger, shoot them in the back of the head, cause disruption. You know, sometimes it pays off great. I will down a whole bunch of people. I will kill them, and, you know, that'll, you know, help lead to a stronger push on, you know, whatever flank we're attacking. But, you know, and at times it doesn't. You know, I'll get cut down immediately or whatever. It does depend on how well your team is playing with you at that point too. You know, if they follow up, if they charge in two, and, you know, a lot of people do play that way, but, you know, on those big maps, you know, on the Imperial Fortresses, you know, when there's, you know, 20 of you on a team and only half of you are playing aggressive and the other half are playing defensive on attack, you know, that's, you know, you're not going to make those huge advancements, and that's where you'll get stalled at, like, the last point at point B. You know, you can't push into the fortress. You're just getting, everyone's getting killed outside of it because they're trying to stand on the steps and, I don't know, shoot plasma shots up at the defenders. It's weird. I don't know why people do it. It's not effective. And they don't change. But so that's my philosophy of the game. That's how I'm successful in the game. Of course, your mileage may vary. I've seen guys that are insanely good with, like, the heavy weapons classes as attackers and stuff like that. The most notable that I can remember is I was playing with Mr. Doomfield and, you know, maybe Sammy the Robot or maybe Lord Helix, I don't remember. We were attacking one of the sequential point captures, and we were orcs, and we had a Luda. I assume he was using the cannon. I don't remember. I never caught a sight of him, but he had so many kills. He was top of experience, but he was a Luda, and we were attacking, so he was doing work, you know. And then, you know, of course, I've seen guys melee classes that, you know, are just carries for the game. You know, they are just killing so many people, doing all the heavy lifting for the team. You know, of course it'll happen, but for my money, what I think is best overall, playing the basic class, building for survivability, and then being aggressive. And I think that will carry you the farthest and the easiest in the game, across all the races. And then, you know, once you kind of get a feel for the flow of the game and you start getting all your other advancements and stuff like that, you can, you know, build up those other loadouts and then be ready in any situation, you know. Like, once you get set up, you know, using the basic Marine to defend the wall when you're on defense of those Imperial fortresses isn't the best. Obviously, the heavy weapon guys are better, just because you have heavy long-range weapons then. But, you know, I still advocate, you know, being the Trader Marine, being the shooter boy. Get that experience and advancing that way. And then build those load-ups out, and then you can switch more freely between them, you know, after you have a good foothold in the game. But, you know, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Yeah, and we'll see if the game changes. They are adding a whole bunch of new elite classes that are very different. The Possessed Marine's in. The Commando boy is in. It's so cool. And Space Marines are going to get, I assume, a revered class if they keep up the trend after this. I don't know what it will be. I don't know. It's gonna be awesome though, I'm sure. So we'll see. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and you know, we'll keep on crusading, having a good time. Thanks for watching, guys, and you know, we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.